welcome to Flory Models. Here we are for the Friday roundup show. Almost said something else. On the 8th of May 2020. Happy VE Day to everybody around the world.
Yeah.
It's all a bit surreal, isn't it? The bunting's out, everything's done, yet no one can go anywhere. Brilliant.
You can stand on your front garden, or if you've got one.
Well, yes, this is it. This is very true.
Wait for your
Try again. We'll have to try again for VJ Day, won't we?
I thought you were going to say we'll try again in 5 years' time.
Yes,
try again in 5 years as well, yeah.
Absolutely. Can live chat just confirm you can hear us all okay? It's just I've got a message come up saying the audio is lower than whatever. So, yeah, if you can hear us, can everyone just say hello or something?
Yeah, all okay.
Yeah, oh, that's all right. I've just got a thing come up and it says audio stream bitrate is low, blah, blah, blah. But if you can hear us, that's all right. Cool, very good.
It always does that, doesn't it?
Well, actually, it did it that first time, and that's the second time it's done it. But it's now saying I can open a widget. But yeah, don't touch it. If it's fine, we're all good. We will just carry on as we are. So yes. Yeah. But no, victory in Europe, the people who say it was VE Day. So yes.
Leave the widgets out of it.
Yeah, I'm not touching
anything. Touch widgets live on air.
Otherwise it'll be, it'll go off. But yes, victory in Europe. That's it. 75th anniversary of the end of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And we were locked down. It's like,
apparently in the US they don't celebrate it.
Don't they?
Do they celebrate in August then?
Yeah, perhaps they. Wow. And they don't in the Netherlands either.
Do they not?
No, because they have it in May the whatever from there where they were not occupied anymore.
Liberation Day.
Yeah, they have a Liberation Day instead. Yeah. But theirs is an annual holiday every year. So we only get one obviously every 75 years. Wasn't Phil going to dress up as Winston Churchill? What are you trying to say?
My granddad was in Burma, so he was a little bit miffed about VE Day. He was still fighting in Burma.
Yes, I must admit that's where my side comes in, because I lost my would have been great uncle in the Bay of Bengal when his aircraft went down the day after World War II, finished in 1945.
Yeah, Lynn's dad was in Burma, so he was still continuing. Yes.
Yeah, because they're still fighting, and I don't think my granddad came home till 46. A bit longer war than most.
But anyway, all good. Nice to have you all here. From my point of view, as you might see, so I'll put me on a big screen so you can see it a little bit more. Hold on, where's me? That's me. Here it is. It's coming to fruition. She's getting there. Still got a lot of weathering to go on this one, but part 3 is up with you right now. For members, you want to go off and watch that one. Basically, what I've done is I've cut down the spraying because literally it was, a couple of hours in the spray booth doing it all. So I've highly edited it. But what I am going to do, and I'll do it over the weekend, I'll put up the raw footage because a lot of people say to me is that, can you just leave it so I can watch it? But instead of boring everyone to death, I will re-edit it, the unedited version of all the paintwork. So, because the camera's always rolling when I'm doing paintwork, it's just a little bit long-winded, but you can see me just going through the motions of doing the entire thing. So I will put that up. But it's still got a little bit to go on this one. I've got to do some more detailed oil work right the way over it. I've got to do the detailed paint yet, because I haven't done that at all. And then obviously we're going to be going along it with various filters to knock it back. Probably airbrushed on, to be honest, but it's a way of just dulling it all back and making it sort of all very oldie looking and stuff like that. So that's it. But that's the basic version done, and it's the first time it's all together. And as Matt will testify, at the moment it's held together with blue tack, and it's a bit wibbly wobbly. You daren't touch it.
Held together with the wing and a prayer, I think, isn't it?
It is. Actually, the thing is, if you had, because at the moment it's in 3 bits, so if you did have the front end properly glued on and the back and the middle together, it'd be like a lightsaber. You could probably whack someone around the head. It's proper strong. I have to say, that rod that goes through the middle is not just a thin bit of alloy. It's actually a proper solid lump going through the middle of it. So it's a good strong core. So in theory, you could grab it by the middle and carry it. It's not going to bend or anything else like that. It's a lot stronger than I actually ever thought it would be. But yeah, it does show it is quite a lump. But it is well, I had to move everything to get it in the camera because it was too big. But yes, there we go. But it's coming together very, very nicely. So you get another part on that on Monday, and then I think there'll probably be one more after that with the actual detailed weathering on it and stuff like that, and that should really call us quits on that one. But yes, coming together very, very nicely. Enjoyed working on it. Actually, it's been a lot of fun. I put all the containers on today and all the rest of it, and yeah, it was one of those that actually went a lot more smoothly than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a bit of a nightmare, but actually it wasn't. It was fine. So
300 quid's worth, is it?
no. Nowhere near it. Absolutely not. But again, a lot of that I think is licensing.
Yeah.
Old Stanley wants his money's worth, didn't he, out of this stuff?
And Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
you know, I imagine that Mobius probably has to pay quite a chunk in licensing fee to get it. And then obviously they know they're not going to sell many of it, which then drives the price up. So in some ways it's a little bit thing. I don't want to start us going on about, you know, pricing and that. But it is that thing that you think that the less they sell, the more they have to charge. So that means they sell less. So it's like, you know, you've got that. It's going to go around, isn't it? If it was cheaper, they might sell more. But yeah, so I don't know. But I'm not in. Luckily, I don't have to make these decisions on pricing and stuff like that. But yeah, at 200 quid, I think this was 199 quid, wasn't it?
I think so. That was a while ago now.
That was when you could get them.
But say I don't think it's in production anymore. I think they've done one run of it, and I think it's quite limited edition. To be honest, I've never. I don't think I've seen it again come back out. So I don't know.
So this is obviously the 1/4 version. There is another version you can buy if you wanted to. It becomes pre-assembled and everything. It's not really for a modeler, but I think it starts at £7,000 up to £12,000 if you have the full detailed version of it and all the rest of it. It's some 3D printed amazing one, studio scale one. It's you know, it's a monster, but it's 1/10 scale. So if you've got deep pockets and you can't get hold of this kit, you can get another one. And then
John.
There you go, one for John. So, but yeah, but no, I'm really happy with it. I do like doing the old sci-fi. So again, it's one of those that's going to be nice. It's still got a lot to go yet. It's not quite finished yet. It's going to have a few more bits and pieces, but it's coming along very nicely. Enjoying doing it.
Good.
And then hopefully my other bits will be here this week, and I can get going on my B17.
Should be with you tomorrow. You've got that Range Rover to build.
Yes, and obviously Range Rover, the review for that went up today as well. So like we said, it's very simple. It goes together probably in about an hour and a half. You can chuck it together, and then you can spend all the time doing the paint work and all the goodies with it, because it's not very technical, I think.
No.
It's a limited part number. In fact, I don't know how many parts in there, but for 30 quid, you actually got something quite good at the end of it. It's quite a chunk. The plastic is good and solid. There's only, considering it's the old Esky kit, there isn't many sink marks or flash and stuff like that. It's actually quite a good tidy kit. The glasswork is absolutely crystal clear, which you'd hope so because it's flat, but it actually is right the way through. But you could actually do a lot with that. Nice little hunting scene, some shotguns and partridges all over it.
You scratch build some spaniels.
That's it, you need some spaniels in there. And actually it does say at the back, if you want to, you can have the tailgate open, but you've got to cut it. It does point out you do need to make some small incisions to make it work, but you could have the back open, so you sat there.
Lola and Molly hanging out the back of that.
That's it, yeah, that's it. Couple of gun dogs, it'd be fine. We could have a Flory scene. What I get up to at the weekend.
Or you could have the Queen. She used to have one of them, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
Oh yeah, one of the royals.
Yeah, that's it. Or you can have a shame they don't do a modern one, because you could have it in a roof in a cottage with Prince Philip saying, "What? I don't remember this house being here." Anyway, so yeah, that's what I've been up to today, going through the motions of that one. So say part 3's up, part 4 will be up early part of next week, and you've got the review. And at the end of the show, we've actually got the final reveal videos from all your great work with the MIG-SIG. Now that's been completed, and 3 of us here managed to do it. So sorry, it's still on me. Let's put the guys back on. Yes, that'd be quite good. Matt didn't take part.
No, they got wings, haven't they?
He got wings. Doesn't do wings. He does occasionally though.
Now and again, but no, nothing of the MIG family was sort of jumping out for me to do, to be honest. So I'll skip that one. So
yes, never mind. He does do a nice push bike.
Well, that's it. Did they ever make push bikes or?
Pigeons? We'll see it at some point.
Yes, they will be.
Probably.
Definitely. Yes. Mini Art doing pigeons. Oh, absolutely. So
Got
yes.
some. Got my pigeons.
Have you got them?
They're going on my diorama. Or my vignette. I don't know. Would that count as a vignette or a diorama?
I think that's a mini diorama, and it's a bit big for a vignette, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know what the... When one becomes one and one becomes the other, I don't know. I'd have to ask Kev. Kev would know. He's a bit more onto it, isn't he? But I suppose it's a vignette, I suppose, isn't it, really? Big one, look.
Yeah, but you've got multiple things in that scene, haven't you? It's not like just... I always think of a vignette as being one thing.
Do you? No, I don't know. I think it's just the size, isn't it?
So if you've got a squadron of pigeons in it as well...
Oh, God, yeah.
Can of worms being opened here. There's a vignette
If it's halfway in between, so it's Phil's favourite phrase, a diorette.
It's a diorette. Yeah.
That's it. It's a new category. I think
Absolutely.
we should have that.
That's what I do. I call them diarettes.
So when I take it to a show, hey, when it goes to a show, which category shall I enter it in then?
I think you need a special bit of paper that says diorette.
Just put it on its own, on its table on its own.
Yeah.
Make my own category up.
That's it. You'll be the only winner in that category.
Hey, I'd still come last.
Especially for Ron, this, isn't it? Ron would know.
Yeah.
Very good.
Lovely.
So anyway, we've got, hi guys, I'm a new member here, really enjoying your website. I wanted to give your washes and sanders a try, so I ordered some from High Altitude Hobbies in the States. Should be here on Monday. Yes, don't forget you get it for Brett. And I have to say, the Flory store is open again. But there's a very good disclaimer at the beginning. Just read it. It sums up that basically it's not my fault. Blame John. So,
Thank you.
basically, in layman's terms, it's don't come crying to me if your stuff doesn't arrive for a month. After a month, then come and give me a shout. Because it could take a bit longer, but as I say, it's the likes of John, who isn't working, look, even on a bank holiday. I'm sure you've got a backlog to deal with. No.
Bank holidays off.
Yeah.
The union won't allow it.
No.
Don't work bank holidays.
John's got a good point here on our chat. Diorette sounds like something you'd take if you've got the runs.
It is.
Good. Yeah,
Yes.
for it.
Yeah.
Back of diorette.
Yeah. And Danny's got a question about a trumpeter 135 5cm flak. No idea when it's going to be released. Not a clue. No idea. Can't answer that one, I'm afraid, because we don't know.
I'm having a Google.
Again, it's one of them when things are coming out and what I don't know. You're just going to have to wait until it happens. I think we've got no knowledge of these things until they tip up. So, you know, till the suppliers, we ain't got a clue. I'm afraid we've got no ins in that respect, have we? So,
no, unfortunately, I wish we did.
inside
But
knowledge.
honestly, most manufacturers, even if they did know, wouldn't tell us because we got big mouths. And but no, a lot of people say to us, "Oh, you know." No, honestly, we don't. I think that's what's happened over the years. I used to have various colleagues and contacts with manufacturers, and I'd know roughly what's going on. But honestly, that's over the last, I would say, 5, maybe 6, 7 years. It's dried up. It's literally nobody says anything now, and I think it's become the big, you know, because there's so many manufacturers vying for the same amount of business that they keep it very much to themselves. You know, we've tried that.
Media as well, isn't it? You know, for peep of it, it's all over Facebook, all over forums, and it's, you know, it's can get a bit out of hand, I reckon.
Yes.
Yeah, best thing is for Trumpy as well. They do put things and perhaps don't release them for ages, don't they? Yeah, we've had a few of them, shall we say, where they're going to release kits and it's never seen the light of day as yet.
Well, that's always been the thing, isn't it? It's been the situation where you used to get the catalogue, wasn't it? And that would be what's this year. But many manufacturers, and to be honest, Italia are a classic for it, used to put things in there that never used to rack up. I'm still waiting for their 48 scale Merlin. Because that was in their catalogue for a long time and it just never happened. So
I think that's been shelved, hasn't it, for whatever reason.
Yes. Sorry, what's the
So how are you getting on with your kits then, you pair? John?
I'm working on me back to me Latin America one, so I'm on me Kafir.
Where's your hind? Nobody's seen your hind, have we? Let's.
Yeah,
No.
I had it the other day.
I ain't seen it. Have a look. You got your final reveal photos up yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He's put them on. I'll let him off. Hold on, John. I don't know if I can
You
make you
obviously
full
don't look at
size.
the
Let me
board very
try.
often, do you, Mr. Ball?
Well, I've been a bit
Hold on.
busy, I'm afraid,
Oh.
lately.
Who's who and who? Hold on, you've all moved round on me. Hold on, let me grab John a minute. Hold on, you've all moved.
Down a
Hold
bit,
on,
down a bit.
hold on, hold on.
Oh,
Right, go on in, John.
There you go, that's my little Hasegawa hind.
that's all right. When's that kit date from?
Originally 1985, but this boxing is 1987, I think.
But they're going to be 1985 molds, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't look at the front seat.
Well, it's got a captain's chair that swivels. so,
Yeah, he's got one of those captain's chairs that turns all the way round.
Yeah, yeah. So
I said it's like a coupe. They got to tip the front seat forward so the guy in the back can get in.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, no, it's a nice little kit. Went together okay. And like I say, if it wasn't for this build, that would just sit in my stash and forever.
It's looking good actually. It's come out well, hasn't it? How would you compare it with the Zvezda one?
Oh, the Zvezda one, yeah, is definitely
What, lacking surface detail?
is definitely far better. You've got the proper tilt in the
It's the offset.
front end, and
Yeah. Why is that symmetrical?
yeah, this is just straight down the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
But yeah, it went together, no filler on it,
Yeah, looks like a hind, doesn't it?
and it looks like a hind. Yeah,
Do you know what? It's not a bad scale centre second for that because it's a big helicopter, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
You forget it carries troops as well, don't you? It's not a gunship.
Yeah. So, and what you been on with, Nathan?
I've come to a grinding halt this week, to be honest. All I've managed to do this week is put half of the wingwort decals on the Tornado. I hopefully get a bit of time this evening, get the decals going.
What is this when you're half drunk from celebrating VE Day?
Yes.
I've got a barbecue, so
With your Bulgarian beer?
don't remember.
Hey, talking of that, Leslie's bought me a nice bottle of Bailey's back today from shopping.
Very nice.
Got some beer and Bailey's later. That'll be nice over a barbecue.
I must admit, Lynn went up the road and she brought back some Sheppy's cider, so I'm okay tonight.
Are they open again?
Is that essential? Is that essential travel?
Now, the co-op at the road sells it. So,
God, can you post me some more? All right.
so yeah, I've got 4 bottles of Sheppy's to look forward to tonight.
Very
I've
nice.
got craving for some Sheppies.
Yeah, they're actually shut at the moment, so I can't get the big refill flagons.
Oh no.
Really?
Rude.
Surely they're an essential business in that part of the world.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you?
I would have thought so.
When was the last time you had some cider, Phil?
Yesterday.
What was it though? What was
Oh no, I was on the Thatchers, so it's a proper cider still.
it? Does that count as a proper cider, John? Thatcher's?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
Somerset, so it's all right. It's allowed.
So
All right, fair enough. I'll let you off.
you can go on Sheppy's and order online, Matt. You do know that, don't you?
No?
Yeah, you can order a 20 litre.
That'd be a hell of a barbecue, that, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. I say what, that'll be a hell of a night in.
Especially when you can't have people round.
About 40 quid, I think you can get a 20 litre,
Barrel.
whatever it is, barrel.
What?
delivered.
Delivered? Really?
Yeah.
Is it a wooden barrel or is it just like a plastic
I've
bucket?
no idea. No idea, but yeah, you can.
Obviously when they're open.
No, now. Well, they're shut.
Why you ordered one?
I'm not a total alcoholic.
I must admit, a lot of the, I don't know if it's the same up your way, but a lot of the microbreweries around here, because there's loads of them, Keelix are all alcoholics, and because they can't sell to the pubs, obviously beer's got a shelf life, they were literally just saying, come along with a container and you can have it, because they'd rather just give it away than it go down the drain. So
Yeah.
a lot of them were literally people turning up, as long as you had your own containers, and you can make a donation if you like, and that's what a lot of people were doing, and a lot of it was going to charity and all things like that. But they were literally, because otherwise they were saying after like 6 weeks in the tanks, it goes off anyway. So they'll literally, it will go down the drain. So people were racking up like, you know, bowls, washing up bowl, fill me up, you know, of anything to carry it to get the free beer and all the drinks they were doing.
That. A lot of the pubs down here were doing that. They're saying if you turn up your own container, because it'll just ruin.
Yeah.
You know, sat in their cellars.
I suppose like the wine manufacturers and that are laughing, really. Well, not laughing because obviously you're not thinking, but at least they don't spoil because the older it gets, the more mature and you know what I mean. So they've still got a product at the end of this. But like I say, pubs and that.
So yeah, I packed Lynn off with her yoke with 2 great big buckets hanging from it.
Yes,
cool.
Definitely the way. Right, okay, if anyone's got any questions, shout out now. Probably the best way. Silly question, but what is cider in the UK? It's alcoholic apple juice. Proper. There's 2 types. To be honest, there's 2 types. Where me and John are down in the West Country, you see, it's basically our life. We're brought up on it. It's our local drink, you see. So that's the thing, cider. So yes, you can get it pretty much around the world, but the stuff that you have around the world isn't like we have here. Ours isn't gassy. It doesn't have bubbles.
Yeah, I must admit, I did try some cider when I was down in New Zealand, and yeah, it's not the same as at home.
No.
Do you know where I've had cider?
Yeah.
Frankfurt is famous for its cider.
Is it?
Yeah. Germans are quite good at cider as well, and it was like the flat, cloudy stuff.
Well, you know, it must have come from the Anglo thingy monks or something, Anglo-Saxon monks or something, innit? Or yeah, I don't know if you trace its sort of roots back.
I don't know.
The thing is, you know if it's proper cider because it has a sediment in the bottom, and then if you drink that bit, you'll be on the loo for the next 48 hours. So that's proper cider. Avoid the bottom of the barrel, definitely.
Just to shout out quick before it goes, because I know Jez is watching. Jez, I've got your mozzie. I'm going to send you an invoice tomorrow. So get your pennies ready. Well, I probably won't do it. Andy will be sending it, but you'll get an invoice for that Tammy Mozzie tomorrow.
Right, hold on. What's up with my notification? Everyone's saying about my notification's really bad.
Is it?
Apparently.
What, you spell it?
Extra letter in it.
Jez has asked a question actually, which you could probably answer, Matthew.
Go on, what?
As it's your speciality now. Hang on, if it stops, keep flicking up.
Speciality?
It's flicking like crazy.
Keeps flicking up. Right, question for lightening olive drab on the upper surfaces of a sherbet using 502 oils. Would you advise buff or maybe some light flesh tones?
Either. To be honest, I would probably go with a flesh tone one, and then it won't like just wash it out basically. But buff will be fine as well. Just don't use white. I think that's the golden rule. Just definitely don't lighten it with white. But to be honest, like greens and all that sort of colours, I do like fleshy colours to lightening. I think you get a nicer shade, a bit warmer, a warmer tone.
Yeah.
I think that's the artistic word for it.
Right, I think you... hold on, they're still banging on about my spelling of COVID. Where?
Is it on the pop-up?
Maybe it's the pop-up, because I haven't seen the pop-up. I'll check with the pop-up. It may be from earlier. When are you talking about? Recently or like earlier on? Because I did change it earlier. Perhaps it just hasn't gone through to everybody yet. But when I put it up there, I spotted it on the pop-up one. Right, I'll go in and check.
Ooh. Apple snaps. I like apple snaps. On the pop-up screen, they're saying in the last 5 minutes. I don't know what's all that about.
Right, okay, hold on. I'll go in and do it.
No.
But at the end of the day, it wouldn't be a Flory Models pop-up if there wasn't something misspelled on it, would there?
Well, this is it. That's why I do it.
COVID-19, or, you know, it's
Covid.
It's a new strain. Oh, it's got some aftermarket for this Mozzie.
Where are we? I want to come.
Tim's saying it's fixed now.
It's fixed now.
What, all of them? That's because they're all looking earlier before it's obviously gone through on the update. If it's fixed now, yeah, that's why I did it earlier. I did spot it earlier. It might be just taking a while to refresh.
Yeah, refresh your screens.
SF5.
So yeah,
Graham asked a while ago who's going to release a C17. A
C7.
Graham.
Kinetic.
Is anyone going to release a C17? Rebel
Kinetic
have
are.
one.
Yeah, Kinetic's doing it in 72nd.
Yeah.
Rebel one's 144, but it's like hen's teeth at the moment.
And Thingy do one as well, Rodin.
I think that rings a bell, you know.
Rodin do quite some 144 scale, bigger stuff.
Big lump in 72nd.
That'd be massive.
It will be huge.
Bigger than a A400.
Yeah, well, the thing is, apparently they put it somewhat back, haven't they, because of everything. I think it was spoken about at Telford that it's been put back a little bit for whatever reasons back then. So it's been probably even further back now. So not too sure on that one.
Rodin C5 Galaxy.
I know they do a Galaxy, they do a Starlifter.
Yeah, there we go. We'll start on the... Why is it so expensive, this Galaxy versus the Starlifter? There's like a massive price jump.
It's huge, it is huge, I don't know.
Talking of the biggest rip-off, though, it's not as bad as my 144 KC135.
No, nothing's in that level, is it? That's,
That's proper rip-off, that is.
You didn't build that in the end, did you? You was going to build it.
I was so disgruntled by the price of it. I've still got it here.
It's in the box. Is it in the stash of shame that I'm not going to build that?
You know
How
what,
much was it? I
gonna
can't
build
even remember how much it
secretly.
was. It was a horrendous price.
It wrote mini art.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, if you have the original boxing of it, it's like quarter of the cost. So they did a proper, oh, we'll just change it, because apparently it says all new tooling. But apparently it's no different from the last version. So I did the review of it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's very nice. I'll give it its due. It's all recessed details and all the rest of it, but it is a bit of a tiddler in this scale. And it's got all the new strengthening and all the bits and pieces, so it is all very nice. But apparently you get this one, it's got the newer engines, it's got the big engines in it. So,
Okay.
yes.
Because they do a Mariner, don't they?
They do a what?
Is it a Mariner? It's sort of seaplane thing. I'm sure it's a Mariner.
Oh, alright, don't know about that.
$59.99.
Yeah, what a... Yeah. £60. But apparently you could get the other one for 20 or whatever it was. It's ridiculous.
Right, can we just put that then in comparison to the VC10?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, I presume that's a bit better moulded, like, but still, 60 quid.
Yeah,
steep.
so there you go. Puts it into perspective. You know, you get something that's going to be this big, something that's going to be that big, even if it is wrong in every form. How do I remove seams on rubber and vinyl tyres without destroying the tread detail?
Sanding stick.
Yeah, there's a couple
Core
of things.
sanding stick.
Stick it in the freezer as well helps.
Sorry, I'm a bit blinded here.
Sorry. Yeah, the little trick you can do, if you put your vinyl tyres in the freezer, they go rock hard, and then you've only literally got minutes though before they'll soften up, especially if you've got them in your hand. But what you can actually do then is get a good carve onto them. But I always say use a heavy grit, so go in there with something really strong and just rip them off, and then you've got enough then to get rid of that seam to then just lightly sand with all the others. But if you've got like a sanding sheet, just pop them in it and give them a rub. I like to do it to them anyway, to distress them a bit.
The good thing is with vinyl tyres is because the vinyl's a lot better now, isn't it? You don't like the old ones used to just crack after a few years, but it's kind of like you can wear them down like a real tyre.
Yeah.
The tread, so you can have
actually,
like a semi-bold tyre really if you wanted, or
yeah, the old ones that used to leak over time, wasn't it? They used to get like an oily residue come out of them after like 5 years. But modern vinyl tyres aren't like the old ones; they're a lot better.
no. I think the worst culprit was the Tamiya Long Range Desert Group truck. Tyres on that used to always split.
Yes. Quick one here for you, Matt. Matt, if you've not sent my order of AK Extreme Metals, can you add the appropriate thinner to my order?
You don't need a thinner.
Well, this is it. And and he says, leave product selection to you, leveling thinners question mark. That's from Mark Smith.
Well, you don't need a thinner, you just spray it straight out the bottle.
Yeah.
So,
And for clean-up, just use lacquer thinners.
and the thinner you need, we ain't got any in stock anyway, which will be that extreme stuff. So, but you don't need it anyway. Like I say, you don't need any thinners for it. It's not a lacquer anyway, is it? It's a hybrid of some or other. So, you'll be fine straight out the bottle. It's already pre-thinned.
And Lee says, Mark, email or PM Matt, because he might not see this or forget.
Oh yeah, that's the other good point. To be honest.
Yeah, always follow up with an email. It's always better than just doing it off of here. Because say, by the time we've done the show, it's all a blur. We'll never know.
Oh yeah, as soon as I've left it, my Bob will be cracked up. Just to let everybody know, I've emailed Attacker today. I've got everybody's emails together that sent me the ones with what the paint and everything, and it's gone over to them this morning. So hopefully we'll get some feedback and report back to you next week of what the crack is about it. Hopefully.
It would be nice to get a definitive sort of answer
Yes.
from them, because this has been going on now for best part of 2 years, and when they switched over to the orange top, we thought we'd cracked the problem, but clearly not.
Yeah.
We were led to believe that that was the problem. It was the black tops, but it's not. It's all the tops. So
Yeah, well, we'll see what they come back with before we make judgment, won't we? So we'll give them benefit of the doubt, and
yeah, we'll make decisions
we'll wait and see what the
based on
decision is
that.
and what they say. So yeah, thought I'd let everybody know. Oh, good. Nathan's putting FS numbers up.
Ooh,
Ooh, what are you doing that for?
what's that for?
It's a question a couple of minutes ago. Day forecast what colour a Eurofighter Typhoon is. The Baron Spirit one. Now, I've assumed they haven't resprayed the whole thing and they just went over the standard camo. But all modern German stuff now is in FS. I read this 35237.
Well, 237. Funny enough,
That's the blue grey.
is that the F-14 Tomcat topside is. So it's funny how they've gone for. That's well, I call it Tomcat blue because it's the top side of all modern F-14 Tomcats. Because
Yeah,
they do
Mr.
the old.
Fuller call it greyish blue. But they've been using FS since like the mid-90s for their colours. Yeah. Handy colour to have there.
Yes.
Somebody's asking about 110 busts and do we stock them? Depends who they are, to be honest. We can get them in. Like I think young miniatures and stuff, we can get them out of AK, but there is going to be a lead time on that for obvious reasons as well. But we don't stock them as in they're on the shelf. If they're company, what they call El Greco miniatures is a good one to go to for figures and stuff. They do loads. They're more specialist in that sort of thing than we are. Yeah.
Peter says, Mr. Flory, I've tried all your washes and decided to go back to regular alcohol. They taste awful. They don't have a nice texture to them.
Noah's got a question here. What do you think of the 124th Trumpeter Hawker Hurricane Mark 2C and the Rebel 132nd Mosquito? Well, I have built the Hurricane Mark II, and it's not a bad kit actually. It goes together real bit basic, but it's okay. As for the Rebel Mozzie, no, I won't bother.
No, the Revel Mozzie's, yeah,
Old.
very, very old. And I must admit, I'm looking forward to getting the new Hurricanes in because Matt stuffed me one in a box.
Yes, I have. Yeah, the Armour one. Armour is one. Yeah, I've got you one for a review, so you could do that next week, along with a Scamel.
Scamel.
A Scamel.
Phil, where do you draw the fine line between collecting model kits and hoarding model kits? Is there a line? I thought they just blur into each other, don't they?
Probably crossed it.
To be fair, the man to ask in here is working.
Yeah, this where we need Mr. Molyneux.
Yeah, he could, do an old speech on it, probably.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's one of those things where you definitely get collectors of kits. I know quite a few who don't build, they just collect. But the bit where it becomes hoarding, I think that's the bit where most collectors, shall we say, would never say it's hoarding anyway. because they'll have a value at the end, or you would hope they would. So, but you know, the trouble is, like I've always said, if you're a collector of kits and perhaps you're collecting a manufacturer, for instance, so that's just assume you're collecting all of like the Airfix range from day dot through, you'll have a collection and a reason for it. If you're just one of these people who buys 10 of each aircraft and just has them in the stash, so I see people's stashes and they've got like 4 or 5 of the same kit, the same box and everything in there. I can't understand that one, because you're never going to build them all. Yeah, unless you were in my situation and you were commissioned to do things, then yes, I used to keep stacks of what I used to do commissions of all the time. So I might keep 10 Tomcats here, I might keep 10 Hornets and things, because that's what I used to build. But where people are normal builders and they have the same ones, I don't actually get that. I can understand maybe 2 at a push, but the bit where you see some collections got multiples of them all, I'm always a bit, why would you do that? I don't actually get that one. But again, it's one of those things. It's a hobby.
Nathan's keeping well quiet on this.
Yeah, but Nathan's a classic example. He builds that particular thing. So if he's got 50 Tonkas in there, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I've only got 2 more of this kit and it feels weird.
That's it. He's getting a bit antsy. He's going to get the shakes.
Bit jittery.
Yeah,
I've got 6 Edward MiG-21s.
Yeah, they're all different variants.
Different variants.
Yeah. And again, that's the difference then. If it's different variants, you can think, well, at some point, John might decide he's going to have a nice collection of MiG-21s with all the different variants. I get that, but it's always a bit weird.
But do you not think it's a bit of a myth about their resale value as well? Because
the thing is, kits get superseded, but if it's a collector and it's a collector's item, because let's face it, if you go back now to kits from the sort of 50s and 60s, they're worth, in some cases, hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So yeah, they have gone up. I think what happens is, you've got that natural progression. You've got the start price is here, then immediately they drop over time because the second-hand market comes in. Then they get discontinued and they come back up and normally go a lot more than what they were before. Okay, and then over time they gradually die off because they're being superseded and all the rest of it. Then they'll come back up again because there's none around and the kit collectors will be all over them. How many times, and we've all done it, we've bid on what we thought would be a nice little bargain on eBay and it goes for a fortune. That's because a couple of kit collectors have got in there and had a bit of a dabble at it to try and outdo each other, and that's when that comes in. I remember a couple of years ago I was bidding after something really obscure and stupid and it went for literally like 90 odd quid. It was like, why? And it turns out it was quite a collectible kit, even though I just wanted to build it, So again, it's one of those things. It's just riding that wave of it, of where it is when you come to sell it, Because I always say, technically, if you've got, I don't know, pick an older kit. So if you were looking at, I don't know, say, just trying to think, say a Spitfire, and say you were doing like a Mark, 14, like the new Airfix one or newish one, right? So that's the Griffin powered Spitfire. Now the thing is, that's probably top whack at the moment because it's the best in scale, but then if Edard did it, all of a sudden that becomes worthless because there's a better kit out there. But that's the classic, because it's an Airfix kit, probably limited, they might not do it very much, so at some point it's going to come up and become desirable again. So it just depends on where on that wave of where it is you come to sell it. That's my point.
But I can't really complain because, Revel F15, who thought that'd go for 45 quid.
Well, there you go. Classic example. And like, it was, we were saying about the, I've moved them all around, that's why I'm looking all over the place. Has it gone now? The Valiant. Valiant couldn't give them away. Now they go for stupid money on eBay because they're a desirable plane. So if they don't re-release it, and when the obviously the Vulcan comes out, hopefully at the end of the year, it's going to be that thing. That thing will be worth an absolute mint. So
yeah. It is like when the Tornado GR4 that I've got back there, I paid under £15 for it, and they were going for £80-ish on eBay not so long ago. But the new one will come out and then it'll dive in value. So it's a hard.
Before Airfix did their Victor, wasn't it? I mean, you could see Matchbox Victors going for 30, 40 quid on eBay.
Yeah. It takes a canny modeler to make money on a stash, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is the thing. It's one of those ones where if you're acutely aware of what you're doing and you buy them obviously at the right time when they're dirt cheap, and then you know that's it. You just ride that wave and you see it go right up in value, and then do it. You know, I remember when I first heard the Victor was coming along, and like I said, and I didn't have any here. But I think I even mentioned it on a show. I said, look, if you've got a Matchbox one now, flog it, because they're going for 70 quid on eBay. They're going to be worthless in a minute. You know, because obviously you got the Reeboks done by Revel of that kit as well. And at that point, you couldn't get them for love nor money. They were really, really going for top money. And I knew full well, as soon as Airfix dropped theirs, it was going to be, you know, everyone's going to hold out and go for that kit. But for a kit collector, to get a genuine Matchbox original is probably worth quite a bit of money if it's in its box.
It's in that free full of plastic, all cellophane wrapped, yeah.
If the rumours pan out to be true with a certain manufacturer from New Zealand, if you collect their kits, you like winning the lottery, I'd imagine, with the prices they go for.
Yeah. They've sold out in pretty much everywhere, haven't they? Apart from
Got next questions here.
Yeah.
So Lee's asked, is the pilot figure still on the cards sometime? Yes, he is. I don't know when. HKB17, any idea when it will come back in stock? No. Unfortunately not. No. Be nice. But no idea. Right, hold on. Question, Nathan, have you seen the Edard Look GR1? What do you think of it?
I haven't seen it in the flesh. The picture I saw, it looks lovely, but the colour looks a bit so it looked very pale grey, the one I saw. But I've had that before with Edard Photo Etch, that the colours on the Tornado stuff seems to be a bit squiffy. I haven't seen it in the flesh though, so I'm not really in a position to say it could have been the lighting. I do know.
I do like them look things, but I still think the Yahoo ones are better.
Yeah. So this is the problem with having model shows. I can't see stuff to buy it. You know.
Yeah.
Thing is, with like Edward, their colour photo etch is notoriously, unless it's a black cockpit.
Yeah, the colours are a bit wonky.
Colours are never right.
Yeah, so I don't know. Hold my verdict until the first model show. I'm gonna have a look at one because it does look lovely on the pictures, nicely detailed.
Again, though, do you see a lot of instrument panel on a Tornado when it's in? No. So,
but you know it's there.
But you know it's there, yeah. Is that Brian's got a question. Has anyone made a kit of the British QF 3.7-inch AA gun? Is there a kit of it? I don't even know if there's a kit of that.
What's one of them?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what it looks like. That's definitely well above my pay grade.
Yeah, that's probably one for chat, to be honest. They might be. Matt, we'll be getting the new Tamiya 112 Honda Fireblade. Yep, I would have said we would. That'd be cool, actually. That'd be a nice kit. God, the chat's well flicking. Has anybody else seen some I've missed?
I've just got one here. Go on.
Gulf War Tornado GR1s, what colour were their weapons, as the colour chart is different to the photos that Adrian has?
I can tell you the fuel tanks were sometimes painted in Leyland blush.
Pardon?
Leyland paints blush, and it's kind of like a magnolia colour.
I thought he said bush.
Look,
Alright, researching that.
Like Fatima blush.
that little nose colour.
The Leyland bush. That's a lovely colour.
Imagine.
Good have
I mean, Gulf War, they used paveways. Can't imagine the British ones were different colours. I don't know.
Well, the paveway kit was bought in anyway, so they'll all be the same colour, I would have thought. Just been the green, yeah?
You know, the iron, the JP233s are like a green colour. I don't know. I mean, they carried a lot of different weapons, didn't they? Bit more specific, really. I think. I don't know.
I must admit, one of the groups I sort of follow, they were discussing a couple of weeks ago about weapons and obviously in and out dates, and they were saying that obviously like iron bombs, you know, it was like in Vietnam they were still chucking ones out from like World War II, so they've been hacking around a long time in storage and stuff like that, and then right the way up to modern ones, and like air-to-air missiles. Sometimes you look at the fins on them and that, and they've got a death date. And it says like years ago, yet they're still using them. You know, they're obviously still fine to use. But you know, weapons that come in and out of storage and that, it's, you know, they're rolled around, they get dusty and crappy like everything else. You know, smart weapons slightly different, admittedly, but you know, normal smart weapons are made up of normally a normal bomb with a weapons kit on it. So either a laser turning them into obviously a paveway, or you know, a GPS guided weapon. So again,
If I was building that, I'd be tempted to look, even though I don't own them, I'd look at the brassing instruction sheets off Edard and see what they're calling out. Well, weapons, I don't know. I mean, the fuel tanks are definitely funky magnolia blush colours.
just got a couple here. New to airbrushing, what needle size go for? I say anything between 2 and 3. But you get different manufacturers do different sizes, so you know. But I wouldn't go any smaller than a 2, and I wouldn't go any bigger than a 4. So if you're somewhere between 4 and 2, you'd be absolutely fine. But needle size, don't take any notice what anybody tells you about. The smaller the needle, the tighter the camo. I've proved it a million times in the videos. You just want one that works well for you. So if you're using basic like lacquers and stuff, I think a 0.2 is perfect for it. If you're using more along the acrylic lines, then obviously 2 to 4 in there, because it just clears through quicker.
I think it depends on the manufacturer as well, doesn't it? H&S as standard seems to be 0.2, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas Iwata, their standard seems to be a 0.3.
Yeah. Yeah. And then some of the others have 0.35s and stuff. So, but that's where I would say you go through. Anything below 4 and 2 and above is really where you want to be. You don't really want to go outside of that, because otherwise you'd be flooding paint down if you're going any bigger. And if you go smaller than that, down to the 0.15s and 0.1s, it's like, you know, very, very difficult to get acrylic paint going through it. It's not so bad with lacquers and metallizers, but if you drop, you know, your normal model airs and things like that, they don't like going that small. They tend to get a bit stop-starty.
Yes.
Peter's cut through with the QF.
Go on.
So if you want a British QF, you've got Hat Industry in 72 and then ResiCast in 35th. So somebody new.
And David reuses his Vallejo airbrush and thinner bottles for his self-leveling thinners and rapid thinner because of the poor top.
That's not a bad idea.
That's why I use dropper bottles. I prefer it in dropper bottles, to be honest. Bit of pain to decant it into it, to be honest, but I just like you a bit more precise.
Yeah,
So
that's me. That's my job for tonight. Dig out some of the. I've got some empty bottles. Cool.
yeah, and Tim's question is, what do you do with a P instrument panel that's the wrong colour? Try to filter it somehow or live with it.
I must admit, I usually put an oil wash over them. So I put an oil wash over the instrument panel and where it's painted as well. So if you've got one that you can't match to it, that's what I end up doing. And to be honest, Edards are normally out. They're not the most accurate colour ones. So I tend to literally just put a filter right over it. So just like an oil wash of something. So if you want to darken it a little bit, obviously a darker wash. If you want to lighten it a bit, then obviously with a lighter wash right over it and just live with it.
I tell you what, the one for the lightning's awful. Not as in
Really
the
bluey.
yeah, as in the you know, the English Electric EAC lightning, not a Lockheed lightning. It's terrible. I don't know where they got that colour from, but it's nothing like what it should be.
I think it's their greys that are particularly bad.
Yeah.
I know with the Russian stuff, people were coming up with paint mixes to match to the Edard, weren't they? So that's another option.
Yeah, their turquoise green doesn't look anything like any of the turquoise green paints I've got. And I did spend a couple of hours with Tamiya paints, and I have got a little jar that I made up that does match the Edward colour.
Could you put the
Like,
put the
couldn't have a
formula?
clue, because it would just add a bit of this and oh, that looks wrong. Add a bit of this.
It's not helping anybody,
There
is
was
it?
no science to it. It was like
Just wing
2
it.
hours of just.
Couldn't you
All
just
of a
mix?
sudden, it was like, wow, that's it. But I couldn't tell you what was in it.
Hey, what about the custom mix of the two Mr. Colour paints or Mr. Accurate? The blue and the green.
That was an emerald green and a blue. That you
Emerald
mixed
green
it.
and some blue in it.
Yeah,
I can see it on the paint rack, but I couldn't tell you what it's called.
I've got them somewhere. But
Yeah.
so that's your last option with Edard, is to push the colour of your cockpit towards what they put on the PE. I think once you've got a grey cockpit next to, say, green paint, or once it's in the model, it probably doesn't look as bad as it does.
And Tony, yes, we'll
To
be
be
getting.
honest now, I can't be bothered with fluffing with it, so just live with it.
Mm.
That's it. What do you do, Phil? Live with it or just filter it? Did you
I'd say I'll
you
give it a
let oil
filter,
wash?
just get it in the ballpark, and you're not going to really see it anyway. By the time it's in a
No.
darkened cockpit, it don't matter, does it? Normally it looks a lot worse. If you've got your lights and you're like this, and you look at it, you think, Jesus, that's horrendous. But by the time it's in there, you can't see it. So I'm not that worried about it. It's just
Yeah.
that it saves me having to try and paint an instrument panel, because I just can't do that. I'm crap. Yeah, they just look
Let's
awful.
get a Yahoo one, because they seem to be better, don't they?
Yeah.
So this one's for you, Phil. Will RPM getting the Hella Canadair and putting it in stock?
We can do.
That put you on the spot, didn't it?
I was going to say, we can get anything from Hella.
Yes, we will get them in.
If you would like us to have these range of quality kits in.
Yeah. And as it's the only one in scale, it can't be compared to anything, so we can't be thinking for selling rubbish.
Yeah, that's it, yes.
Yeah, we can get them in, Tony. Yeah, we're no problem. I'll
I
order
had a
something.
thought when I watched that review, Phil, you could do that for the action movie group build.
Yeah.
Expendables 3.
Mm.
No, it's not that plain. They didn't use that, was it? What did
Yeah,
they?
in one of the later ones.
No, it's not that plain. It's not a Canadair thing. That's the Albatross, is it? They used.
That in the first movie it was,
Oh,
but
right.
in 2 or 3, it was that one, the Canadair.
Oh right, I thought they used an Albatrossy thing in it. No, I must admit I haven't seen the later one, so I wouldn't know. But I've seen the pictures of them. But no, it's going to be in a nice high vis colour, like yellow and orange. It'll be fine. What do you keep your Zap kicker in? I bought a large bottle and decanted it into small dropper bottles. It seems to make the PE plastic dropper bottle go soft. Oh, well, I must admit I don't put mine into other things. I just normally throw it away when it dies.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to be careful with certain plastics because it will melt them.
I must admit, that's something I've run out of and never replaced his kicker.
Mm.
Why are some Tamiya kits made in the Philippines and others are made in Japan? I have two Corsairs, one made in the Philippines and another one in Japan, both 1/32 scale.
Because one factory's in Japan and one factory's in the Philippines. It's as simple as that, I think.
I was going to
Nothing
say also,
behind it.
it may be that one factory's at the capacity of, so they've just shifted it to another one. Different batches done in different ones. Normally, Tamiya do tend to do a lot of theirs in Japan, but they can. But I knew they do some in other places as well. So I think it may be just one of those things. If they can't get the slots, capacity, whatever. So,
Yeah, they've got a factory in Philippines. Tammy's got a factory in the Philippines because he told me.
yeah.
Because I think that was at one point where they were getting stock out of when they started.
Right.
So, but I don't know obviously what they produce at which factory, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
Phil and team, what is the best way to tick off rivet counters?
Do it.
Don't
Don't bite for a start.
Yeah, just ignore them.
To be honest
That's
with
the
you, like
only
I've
way
said
to deal
before,
with
and to be honest, I get a lot of guys, you guys come and talk to me and say, oh, you hate me because I'm a right rivet counter. And like I say, it doesn't work like that. I'm not having a go at rivet counters. It's just that something I don't go for personally. But rivet counters have the place in the world because it keeps the manufacturers on their toes. Because if nobody complained and bitched and whined about it, they wouldn't strive to get better. You know, because that is the thing. So it's a bit like, you know, the opposing government, isn't it? Their whole point is to keep the government on their toes. So that's a little bit like rivet counters as far as I'm concerned. So it's not that I dislike rivet counters, I'm nonplussed to it. It doesn't bother me that something's slightly out of shape. If it looks like it to me, that's good enough. But you will never see me get the calipers out and a bit of paper and try and look at it. You know, because a lot of people know when I did like the Hornets, there's no, you know, I know the F-18 Hornet really, really well, inside and out these days, bloody enough. But the thing is that it's never bothered me because my client, when I was doing all of the commission works for it, he knew the shortfalls for it because he knew them better than most, obviously everything about the Hornet. So when I was doing all the commission works, I knew where it was slightly wrong and it was not correct and there was some errors. But if he was living with it and he was commissioning me to do 250 of them, then, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's good enough for me as well, you know, because I'm not one of these people that are going to go round and change it. You know, if it's good enough in that point, if it's got something that's blindingly obvious and quite a simple fix, I'll fix it. But, you know, it's a bit like the VC10 issue that's come up where everyone's saying it's wrong and this, that, and it's got the wrong wings and it's the wrong fuselage and the cargo door and he's doing and all of these things. And loads of you have messaged me about saying it's totally wrong. But does that mean now I don't build it? No, I'm still going to build it. I'll make some light modifications to it to hopefully make it a little bit more as if, but it's not right, but it's good enough. It's going to be close enough for me because most people are going to look at it and they're just going to be like, wow, or hopefully, wow, that's really nice, it's a VC10. You know, the bit where people start coming along going, you do realise it's got the wrong wings and all the rest of it, is the bit where I know, and, you know, what you're going to do.
But don't you think that's the problem, the preachy bit?
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's not
like we always say, and it's the same thing with the Flory Model site and with the forum, there's ways of saying things. That's the whole point to it. If somebody comes to come over and say, you do this, this and this, and if you're going to just tell me it's wrong, just to get, I don't know, some type of brownie point or whatever you're after, I'm not interested. But if you can come and tell me why it's wrong, and then obviously steps to fix it, then that's different, you know, and that's the point. And a lot of people have said to me, you know, I've got a lot of people have just simply said, you do realise it's crap and it's this, that and the other. And to be honest, that's just delete, delete, delete all day long, you know. But a lot of people have said, right, if you're going to do it, what you really need to do is this, this and this, because you could actually make a C model out of it, not a K, and you can actually do this. The nose is wrong, but it's probably close enough, so I won't worry about it. They're the ones I like listening to and are happy to listen to, and hopefully I'll be able to do something around that so we can make it work. But, you know, again, it's that thing, there's ways of saying it. If you're just blunt or just, quite frankly, rude, then, yeah, I just don't have any time for you. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you're happy to discuss it and go through the you know, the pros and cons, then it's different. But it's no different when I do reviews. You know, like at the end of the day, I do these reviews on that, and some of them I get really negative feedback about my reviews, and it's like, right, okay, but that's what I'm seeing in front of me. No, I haven't built it. And you're telling me, oh, it's crap, it's unbuildable. Well, I haven't built it. I'm just going for what I'm seeing in the box. You know, so it's a little bit different. But again, there's ways of saying it. If you're just going to say it's crap and stupid and give me a load of crap for it, then I'm not interested. But if you're going to say, look, it's this, this and this, and there's interesting facts, then I can pass that information on, you know, and hopefully make a little bit of a better decision later on with it.
I don't mind rivet counters too much, really. It's the paint police, the ones that get my goat.
Well, yeah.
I think it's about timing. If you're going to point out faults as a kit, do it before some poor buggers built it, rather than at a model show going, that's wrong. But it's like, I've built it now, I'm not going to do another one.
Yeah, it's a bit late now, right? It's already together.
You know, the boss bolted, you're too late. It's like,
well, again, I think people sort of need to remember that one person's passion, and like you say, you know a Hornet inside out. You know, I have no sort of interest in the aeroplane. But if it had a nice scheme on it, I probably, you know, I'd be tempted to build it. And some people do that. Oh, I like the camo on that, or I quite like that subject. But I'm no expert on it. But it looks like what I want to, you know, what I want it to look like, kind of thing.
yeah. whatever floats your boat.
Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of scenario. Well, just because you're an expert, don't mean you can go and preach to somebody else
Absolutely,
who perhaps a passing fancy for building it. Do you know what I mean? It's like stuff with the Luftwaffe SIG. None of us are overly passionate about any of the stuff that's on it, but it's a nice SIG. There's a lot of variation that we can go down and build from what they've used. So there's massive scope on it, but I'm by no means an expert on 109s, 190s, or anything else that people probably are. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
And you've got a good option with the Luftwaffe SIG that you can put a slightly wrong paint colour on it just to wind the paint police up.
Shades of green in black and white photographs is always fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, at the end of the day, like I say, I'm not anti-rivet counter because, again, they have their place, but I think there's just, you know, ways of saying it, and I think that winds most of us up is what sometimes when you'll get people and they'll preach to you in and out of it, and you say to them, "Have you built one then?" and they go, "No."
Yeah.
And like, you're like, why are we even having this conversation then? You know, at the end of the day, you know, that's normally my kicker one, you know. So yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is.
That's the danger, that you can tie yourself in a right knot about how inaccurate something is to the point that you never actually build.
Yeah.
Because I had a conversation, the guns on this are 1 millimeter too short, and somebody's corrected it, and I'm sitting there thinking it's 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
Can't be bothered. And I'm building it for general effect. Like the demarcation between the camo ain't in the right place, but it's close enough for me. Someone who knows Norm 83 camouflage inside out will know that the demarcation's not quite right. But I'm far more of an overall effect. It doesn't look like an F-14 Tomcat, so there you go. It's all right. You know, it's roughly tornado shaped.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm happy. Other people get pleasure from making things accurate, you know, making the camouflage spot on. But I think the people that hold their standards on my model kits are the ones that I have a falling out with.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
You know, that's my
sort
of. I've always, my line is, it doesn't look like a Spitfire, so it's all right. You know, that's the running joke with 109 builds. Doesn't look like a Spitfire, it's accurate. And that's the thing where it's how you put it across. 9 times out of 10, they put it across after you've finished it. Too late, you can't fix it. And the other one is they put it across in, it's a bad model because you've not done X, Y, Z. I mean, it really did peeve Rob off no end when someone said you did the wrong colour. And it's like, sort of a time machine or a Ouija board, to the person that painted it, you ain't never going to know. But he put it across in such a, well, there was a complete lack of
social skills.
Social skills and respect, I think, is the word, because he didn't know Rob from Adam. So why would you go and do that? It's not like you go up to somebody in the street and just start criticising what they're wearing or something, is it?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's that scenario. Just because you've got a model kit on the thing, it don't give somebody the right just to come and criticise it. Far from it.
I don't want people to tell me what's wrong. I want people to tell me how to put it right. And that's where Phil's VC10 message was quite helpful. And genuinely thankful for that sort of input. And then it's up to you what you do with it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, absolutely. You know, the thing is, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people, you know, forget is it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a real aircraft, if you've been up to real aircraft, and I mean properly, hands-on with them, you will know that they are a mess. They've got lines, they've got, you know, bits of tape on them, holding them together. You know, there's various things. They are not perfect items a long way. These aren't like a Ferrari that sat there in a showroom, for instance. Aircraft weather differently to every other aircraft around them, just by the nature of what they're doing. You know, the same goes with like sci-fi models. So obviously we're working on the Discovery down in here. And again, the thing is, if you look at the real thing, hands-on with it, you'll know it's a complete mess, because it doesn't look that nice. Again, they're not shot to be looked at under the microscope. They're designed to be seen on a set, and it's going to be gliding past the camera with big studio lights onto it and all the rest of it. The Star Wars stuff, if you've ever been and seen those at the various shows when they're doing the circuit, they're a bit of a mess as well, you know. You can see all the imperfections in them right the way through, and I think that's what people tend to forget, that in reality is things aren't nice. Armour, classic example, they're usually all over the place as well, you know. So, you know, having a perfect model and being, you know, exact replicas of what you see, you're chasing a goal that's never going to be there. And in some ways, again, because of the scale effect, you know, that comes over, things may be wrong with the model, you know, in the moulding and stuff like that. If it's got completely the wrong shape, then that's obviously a major cock up by a manufacturer. But modern kits, they look like it. Like the MiG-23 there, classic example. I know technically the nose probably isn't 100% looking at it, and it's got a few other bits and pieces with it, but from my point of view it looks great and I'm happy with it, and I would stick with it, you know. And that's the thing. And yeah, the colouring, if you look at the colouring, because I had to match the decals, I think the real thing's definitely bluer than what they've gone for, but there's no way I would be able to do all that decaling by hand. So it's a case of, right, okay, we're going to match to what's there and we'll go in with the colour call-outs that it's got. So again, it's like a compromise that you're making yourself, but I'm happy to make those compromises, you know, so that's the point to it. And again, like, you know, I often talk about colours and stuff like that. Again, I just switch off normally. You know?
This is art.
Do you think the rivet counters, it's purely in aircraft modelling?
No,
No, God, no. You get it in armour.
Because some of the armour stuff, when you look, you know, things like this Spanish school of painting and that,
it is a bit funky, isn't it?
it's not realistic.
No, but
It's
what?
stylistic, isn't
But
it?
yeah,
It's
but
art. It's
Yeah.
art.
I'm
we
trying-
Definition of art, isn't it, is an object that has no practical use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, models haven't got a practical use, you just look at it. So, you know,
it's art.
the way some armour is painted, it's not like a real life thing, is it?
no, nothing like it at all, but it looks good.
But yeah, you don't seem to get the detractors at that. Whereas if you've got a slightly wrong tone on your flipping Messerschmitt or something,
You
people
hear a lot about
mental.
people get their knickers in a knot about Sherman suspension, don't they? And
Yeah,
bits.
Tigers. Oh, German armour get it. Like
yeah.
Tiger 2's Panthers, they cop it. So no, it does cross over, but
models by their very nature aren't going to be 100% accurate anyway, are they?
well, no.
No, of course you can't make it 100% accurate. It's the whole point, because of the scale issues and the limitations with thicknesses of plastic and injection moulding and things like that. There's a massive compromise, and I think that's what people need to sort of understand. You know, it's, you know, you are dealing with an object, especially when you get to massive things like this. Like the studio original is 15 foot long. That's how big it was. And so you've shrunk something like that to this, and there's smaller versions and this one out of there as well. So you're going to have limitations on the detail you can put into it, because you can't make a 10-foot model into a 3-foot model, you know, without there being sacrifices. And that's the same thing with aircraft as well, you know, as I say, especially with the bigger scales, you know, the bigger bombers and stuff like that. When you start shrinking them down into being a foot long, you know, you've got to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, enough of the rivet counters.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and start up my V-Day barbecue now. So
Okie
Enjoy.
dokie.
have a nice weekend, folks.
We will do.
Really.
I've got to
Bye,
move
bye.
me stuff round, so if you...
I'll go now. See you later.
All right,
All right, mate. See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
It's all right. When he vanishes, that's it. I've got to reposition everyone. Hold on. Hold on. Live. Lola, forget it. It's not dinner time yet. Hold on. We have one there. We can get rid of that one, which is that one. And then somewhere down here, I've got... actually, look, if we can have this one on, look, you can... It's it. Look, it's all down here. That's how long it is. It's longer than my desk coming out. Christ knows where it's going to live. Well, I do know where it's going to live. Right, okay, I think if I can grab that, there we go. We can put the forum up there. Cool, there we go. Sorted. So anyway, a couple more questions. I like to build unique, unusual 1/48 scale aircraft. What company would you recognise or recommend? I think he means. Thanks, I'm a big fan, Timothy. If you want weirdy type stuff, Special Hobby, they do a lot of weirdy stuff.
Yeah, you're going to
The
be
mainstream, without getting really limited stuff, but Special Hobby tend to do the more weirdy stuff, don't they?
Yeah, you're going to be looking down the limited run market, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
AZ do a few, like say Special Hobby. I'm trying to think off the top of my head and I can't in a minute. But any of them sort of companies, really, you know. Again, it depends what you're looking for as well.
Yes.
The best bet is if you think, just Google it and just say put 1/48 in, whatever it is, and I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah.
On the manufacturer. So.
Yeah, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's one of those. It depends on how far you want to go down the limited run route, because obviously some of them can be a little bit ropey, and obviously, you know, that's because it's not a big, you know, Spitfire 109, that usual things, you know, you're going to be paying probably a little bit more for a lot less, you know, like the VC10. You know, and stuff like that, classic example. So that's it. But Fly as well, various things. I'm just trying to think of a few companies, but yeah, I think for mainstream thing, Sword as well, they do sort of funny stuff, but just more 72nd. That's very rare for them to do 48th. But again, it just be mindful that obviously if you're going to go down that route, then the quality is going to slightly tend to diminish a little bit. But if you're, you know, you're quite happy to go with some 4 boils and various things with kits, then you know, knock yourself out with it. Flory models out of stock. Wash out of stock. No, it's all right. It's on, or unless you lot have bought it all in the last hour and a half, whatever. It should be just in stock. Let me just check, because we may have got out of stock. I don't know. We haven't got tons of them. Let me just check. It should be in the store. Matt's got them as well up at...
yeah, but they're not in stock yet.
Oh, not in stock yet. Well, that might be it. Yeah, they're in stock there. 42. Grab them now. But Matt's got them up as well. So they are there. Okay, and where are we? Feel that a dog under your desk. It probably would have been. It's getting near that time.
34 past. Somebody asked in the chat, I've seen it earlier, about the TA152, the Zukimura kit. Is it nice? Yeah, the 32nd one. Yeah, it is. It's a nice kit.
Yes.
Never built one, but from what I've seen, it is a good. Yeah, it's a good kit. Because I think the only other one is Pacific Coast Models. Is it? I think did one in 32nd, but I think you can get it, and it's a bit more limited run. So yeah, if you can get the Zukimura one, I would definitely.
Andy says, I build 124 scale, 125 scale trucks, and the amount of rivet counters it shows can be off-putting. Again, just don't listen to them. That's the best bit.
Yeah, it is really. Yeah, no need for it.
Yeah, I think it sometimes, you know, I always usually do the sort of if somebody's having a particular go about a model or something, you say, have you built it? You know, and if they come back to it, then just flip the question. So how did you fix it? And just go at them and reverse it back. That always tends to work quite well, because some of them say, well, I didn't either. And then you're like, well, why the heck are you giving me a hard time over it, you know? So we've had that one before. But most people tend to know what I'm like when it comes to rivet counting and all the rest of it, so it's fine. Yeah, the guy's saying down in here as well, German army just got tins of pigment and cut it with whatever they had, even fuel oil sometimes. So there you go.
Brian's got a question here. Which brass finish would you use on a Model T Ford radiator, AK Extreme or Mr. Metal colour? Either or, I think. It was going to be.
Yeah, the Mr. Metal colour, obviously it's a buffable, so if you were doing like a high finish to it and you wanted to make it look like it had been polished, you know, type of effect.
Their brass is really nice, that one.
So yeah, you could literally then buff it up to be like a proper shiny one. But if you were just going for the sort of normal finish, then you could get away with any of them really.
Yeah.
Blimey, Dennis has said he's got 9 72nd scale B52s.
Have you built one yet?
Where the hell are you going to put 9 of them?
Yeah, where are you going to live with 9? Mind you, can hang them on your wall and be like wallpaper. Hello, you all right? You really go away. You're literally 45 minutes yet. Sorry kids.
Yeah.
You see the little tails wagging as they go past. Look, bugger off, the pair of you.
Hello, Patricia Ann. Hello.
Yeah.
Getting pieces together, build a 40. It's alright, I'm reading out loud then, was it?
That's one for Phil, isn't it? For the Tamiya F14D.
Yeah.
What aftermarket decal schemes would you recommend?
To be honest, there's loads of them out there and they're all pretty good. As I say, unfortunately the manufacturer I used on mine is no longer with us. I don't think they're going anymore, which was
Pops.
no, it was the other lot. Hold on.
Pause. Fighter Town.
Was it Fighter Town? Yeah, I think it might have been actually. Hold on.
Fighter Town.
Oh my lord. Note to self. I need to sort this lot out. I don't know which one it was now. Hold on, got some various weird and wacky ones all in here. But yes, crikey. See, you know when you've got everything in here, literally. I can't remember which one it was now. My lord, I think I need to sort some of these out.
I was going to say, can you remember what you've actually got in there?
No, I've got a clue. And I've got some good ones.
Sure.
Perks of doing far too many. So yes.
I'm doing it all by aftermarket, and then I go and put it in my aftermarket box and find that I've already got about 10 of them in there.
Yeah, that is a problem, isn't it? Or the other problem is you put it in the box with the kit and then sell the kit, but you've got aftermarket in it. So somebody's got a right bonus.
Yeah, somebody's got a proper bonus.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's afterburner decals. Definitely you want to go for some of those. But they do more sort of Air Forcey things, I think. I just can't remember who did that one now. I did have the proper pack for it somewhere and I've lost it. But yes, that's going to bug me. Pop back to the video and have a look. It will say it. I thought it might be just here. So yeah, that's where I keep my decals. And then they go in a giant tub, which I've got down here.
Again, a quick Google would help, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah, but again, there's some great schemes out there for all of them. It's the nice thing with the Tomcat. It's very well done.
Yeah. Well, just a question for John. You've been up the allotment.
Yes.
And? Are you knackered?
Yes.
Yeah.
My arms and back are killing me. She wanted the top of it cleared, and I said to Phil earlier before we came on, it's like I've been cleared the Amazon jungle. It was like, yeah.
Was it a bit overgrown?
Just a bit.
Yeah.
He was in there with Lara Croft.
Was there? Got your machete out.
Got his machete.
It's cleared, it's just got to be dug over now.
He's the Indiana Jones of Taunton, aren't you, mate?
Cool.
Are you going back up again, or is that it? You're a bit done?
No, I will have to go up again and dig it over. Because she wants a little tiny shed put there, so...
Why don't you take Tom with you?
Yeah, no, I need to do that.
He's the muscles of the group, innit? He's a fit lad. He could do with, you know, probably clear it in half an hour.
Yeah. But it's my good deed done for the day.
That's it. You can have
That's why we're getting tapas tonight. It's Lynn's treat.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. You earned it by the sounds of it. Oh, look who's here.
We got a Mr. Molyneux.
Ain't he been banned yet?
Well, what's he doing home from work?
I don't know.
He says he works. Clearly doesn't. He's on half day.
He is. Half a job.
Half job.
You better not be late tomorrow.
I saw a question for you, Matt.
Was it? I didn't. Whoever did it, post it up again.
Matt,
Are you running?
this is from Ed. Are you running into kit shortages and/or price increases, and what specific manufacturers or types of items?
So obviously stuff coming out of the Far East is limited because obviously their factories have been shut for God knows how long. So and then getting it over here, so you can say like Kinetic, Kitty Hawk and stuff like that's hard to get hold of, but it's not been too bad. So I don't need to iron. Andy, this has just come straight off the washing line because I ain't got a clean one. And as for kit prices were going up anyway, to be honest. But there's no increase as in because of what's happening. It was just an increase because of, the pan being rubbish, basically.
I think that's the biggest thing at the moment that we're going to be hit with very soon is not so much because obviously most of the factories in China are operational again now, but it's the pound and the economy's all going tits up and things like that. I've got a feeling that obviously the pound's going to sink a little bit, shall we say, and lose out to things like the yen and all the various things over in that part of the world. And then before you know it, the costs are going to start to scoot up again.
Yeah, there's already been an increase on a lot of manufacturers, to be honest, I've seen have gone. So, yeah. I think the more thing is just getting it out of China now into, different distributors, isn't it? I think that's more of a problem.
Robert says, just putting the last part on his 1974 tooled Airfix Spitfire. Now the decals. The original decals, that'll be the things. But good job on doing an old kit. As a brush painter, who uses enamels and builds out of the box and does not weather his models? I've had some bitter comments.
Right, okay.
Again, if you're that type of person who just like builds straight out of the box using enamels and all the rest of it, then fair play to you. At the end of the day, but say I know guys who just brush paint, who don't airbrush, and they make amazing models and all the rest of it. You'd never know. That's the thing. What is the best way to create an anti-slip coat texture for modern warships? Crikey, what scale are you in?
Yeah.
Would you even see a slip coat on that scale? I don't,
I was going to say, I thought he was going to say modern tank then, but when you go into ships, that's an old...
Ship scale, yeah, that's the thing. To be honest, I don't really do ships. So to do anti-slip, I just tend to, it's flat for that type of scale of it.
Again, it's got to be down to scale, hasn't it, really? If you're going down 1/700th, it's going to be, not a ship modeller, I'm afraid. Any ship modelers on here, how would you do it?
Yeah, how do you do your anti-slip ship modelers?
Chuck it out to the chat.
Yeah. Do you find decal setters remove acrylic gloss coat or pledge, or am I being too rough? Happy VE Day, guys. Again, we spoke about this quite a bit. You just have to be careful. Don't forget, most of them are a mild form of acid, so it's breaking down the enzymes of your decal. It's also eating through your surface. So if you put too much on, I think that's what happens. So it'd be no different from putting too much thinners on, for instance. It's going to eat into your paintwork underneath. But if you just put a quick brush of thinners on your model, it'll just evaporate and it won't harm anything. But if you put too much down, obviously you do get some bad results with it, or a milky looking surface and stuff like that. Pledge especially, because pledge is a wax. If you scratch it and stuff like that, you can physically get your nails into it. So that enzyme, when it attacks it, you get the milky look. And that's it. But if you give it another coat, you can eat through that and reset it, and away you go. So it's not too much of a problem.
Keep pledge for your floors.
Yeah, I have to agree. I've never got on with it, but there you go, each to their own.
Well, I use it. I just give it a quick blast over, and away you go. It's a quick job. So you just need a quick glossy finish, and it's usually I use it for weathering and stuff like that. It's just as a protection. If I got it on and I got something I want to protect, I just give it a quick coat of that, and that way you can go over it with anything you like, and nothing's going to be affected by it.
Just going back to decals, right? When you're a kid building models, you used to put your decals on with just a bit of warm water, no fancy, and they never used to come off.
Well, this is
true.
true.
Whelmed on there, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
Nowadays, you've only got to touch it and it comes off in your hand.
this is what exactly my point.
Yeah.
What you know, I presume obviously they were a bit thicker back in the day, shall we say? But
Yeah.
you know, it's funny, isn't it? How you've got all these lotions and potions to make your decals stick and your make it conform and all this, that, and the other. Yet you never used to bother. You used to whack it off. You're done.
Where do we go, Matt? Oh, it's when we went to when I was at yours last, wasn't it? Me, you, and Andy went to
Do it.
Newark.
Yeah.
And there was that Lancaster, wasn't it? Tamiya Lancaster,
Yeah.
where the decals was peeling off.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that was probably our old, to be fair to it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a proper old school build. So how long it's been in there, I don't know. But yeah, it's all right. Just a thought I was having. That was all. It's just you know, like, do you really think some decal like some of the decal manufacturers out there, you do actually need the potions to actually get them to conform and work,
Yeah.
or do you just do it out of habit?
I don't know. That's the whole point. Sometimes, I must admit, if I'm doing the Gladiator, for instance, I didn't actually use any setting solutions on that, I don't think. I think I
Right.
literally just rolled it over it.
Yeah.
I didn't leave them on there to eat in. I think I just gave it a quick wipe and then we rolled them in to get them to conform, and that was it. But as I say, they weren't overcoated or anything. They were just left as is, and they went down lovely. You know, really, really nice decals, and that's the difference. Some of them, like, you know, tend to be really thick and,
Yeah.
you know. But if you remember
Yeah.
as a kid, I'm just trying to think that far back now, but they always had that milky look in the water as well, didn't they? Like the glue.
Yeah, the adhesive.
But you don't get that anymore. So
No.
I reckon perhaps they had a different adhesives. Probably something's illegal and banned. It was probably asbestos flake lead
based.
or something. Yeah, that they've now
Yeah,
banned,
probably.
and that's why you can't use it.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, like I say, obviously things have progressed, so the adhesives have changed, and the printing, you know, side of it as everything has come on. But yeah, sometimes I just wonder if you do sort of use the solutions out of habit rather than actually needing to.
Yeah, no,
No.
it's probably a good point, because I still maintain one of the best ones is Tamiya X20A, because
Yeah.
it just works. But I
Yeah.
still find myself going down, trying the microsol route. We'll do that first, then I'll try that, and if that don't work, we get out the hypersol and melt it
the
in.
vinegar, the pure
That's it.
vinegar.
Yeah, the sulfuric acid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, sometimes I think you perhaps create yourself some more problems than you actually need to.
Yeah, absolutely. You put a lot of the times. I think sometimes because we have a certain way of doing it, you end up doing things you probably don't need to do. You know,
Yeah.
like I know a lot of people do lots of clear coating between layers, and often I don't
Yeah.
bother with that. I just get it on, and that's it. So, yes.
Are you a clear coater in between layers, John? I'm too
No.
bone idle. I'm too bone idle to do it, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yes, I must admit I don't
But
bother.
I do normally put a gloss coat down before I put the decals on.
Yeah. What
What
about?
I tend to do, I tend to do the gloss coat not so much for the sake of the decals,
Mm,
but for a panel line wash,
yeah.
doing a pin wash on the panel lines,
Yeah.
just so I don't stain the paintwork.
Yeah. Again, I think like with lacquers and stuff, they've already like sort of a satiny finish, aren't they? Especially like
Yeah.
MLPs are and Attacker, and again, if you're using the Gunzy ones, they've got sort of a satiny finish. I think if you're going down the Tamiya route, they're just flat, aren't they? They need something in them, I
Yeah,
think, or over the top of them.
yeah. You need something to get them to get in. You know.
Yeah. Because otherwise you are going to have problems with silvering and stuff.
But I am looking forward to doing my little Heinkel, because I have got Montex masks for the markings on that.
So you're going to,
I've never sprayed markings before, so I'm looking forward to that.
yeah. I don't think I've ever sprayed them. I don't think it's like, I don't like decaling, so masking to spray as well. That's just like the thought of that is just painful to me, I think.
Yeah.
But they do look better when they are painted on. They look more authentic.
Yeah.
I'll give it
Well,
that.
the great
Especially
thing
when
is,
you
if
get
you're going to
up-
put markings on, like we did with the A10, you put them down and they are slightly stepped up, and then you just go over them with a sanding stick, you know, and just buff them in, and they just vanish into it, and they're just part of the paintwork then. And that's the nice thing with it. No silvering, no worries about getting anything underneath it or anything else like that, and that's it. And it's one and done. So yeah, happy with that.
But I think again, if you're into the lot, if you're doing the light screen like 32nd or 24th, or spraying them on it looks a lot better than decals.
Yeah.
I think if
Especially as a Tamiya kit with Tamiya decals,
yeah,
it doesn't matter whether you gloss coat or whatever. With the thickness of the decals, you are still going to see that carrier film
yeah,
Yeah.
you could have
because they're that thick.
yeah. It's just a bizarre thing, isn't it, with Tamiya? I know, like Phil's mentioned it, and I don't know how many times, but like for such a good manufacturer, like why are the decals the crap?
Speaking of which, it turns out afterburner decals are gone. They've sadly gone. 2 Bobs and Fighter Town are still going, but only slowly. Sad.
All right, dear.
Phil and the team, I'm considering an F18 EA18 Growler. Which should I go for? The Artillery or Hasegawa? Definitely the Hasegawa. Don't go near the Artillery. The Artillery one isn't even a proper Hornet. It's one of the prototypes they did for it. So it's nothing correct in it whatsoever.
Your rivet counter.
Yeah, I know, I'm a total rivet counter there. Are there any issues with them? To be honest, there is issues, but as you say, it depends how much you want to be a rivet counter. The trouble with the Hornet, seeing as I'm now in my home stretch, the blocks of Hornets that are out there, like the Block 20 and stuff, compared to what is available, I think all the kits are roughly the Block 10, so there's lots of differences, especially in the cockpit. But at the end of the day, it looks like a Hornet. They're great shape. They look a lot better with the flaps and slats deployed and all the rest of it. They are a good looking model at the end of the day. You can get aftermarket corrections for them. There's some very bits that stick out down the back end and stuff like that. And you can do those if you want to, and various things to it. But it depends on when you're doing the Hornet, because the Hornet, like most modern jets, there's different versions coming out all the time of it. So it just depends on what you're doing. But a lot of people, the rivet counters out there, if you were looking, will know that the cockpit's probably wrong in the rear. And various things, because they've changed screen sizes and positions and stuff like that around it. But again, it looks like a Hornet. It's the best shape. Your other option, obviously, yeah, you got the Atari ones, but again, there are prototypes. The Growler version is just an upgrade of their F18F. So yeah, it's not nice. It's all molded in the upward position. You can put them all down. I have done it to them, but you're better off just going with them. Just be careful with the Haskell Hornet family. The way it works, it's got like a long piece where the wheel well is, sides come to it. Do one at a time and glue them in and get it seamless, and it will all fit lovely. Test fit, dry fitting, and you'll be absolutely fine.
So what you're saying is we need a new tooled one.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a modern one. I think you can get aftermarket cockpit if you want to put into it to make it up to the later blocks and do it that way. But yeah, it would be nice. As I say, I've got it down there, and I do intend to do it at some point. I've got the 32nd, and I've got down there the F18G to make into an F from the Trumpeter kit, because that's more like it, because the Trumpeter F is a very, very early version of. So if you want to do a more modern version, you're better off getting the Growler, because the Growler's got all the parts in it to make the F18F. And do it that way. But again, it's one of those ones, none of them are very good, because it's a very modern aircraft and it's always evolving, so it's trying to keep up with all these changes.
Does anybody do a 72nd one?
What, Super Hornets?
Yeah.
Yes, but again, I think they're the early types.
So what version of the Luftwaffe are getting then? Because aren't they getting Hornets?
Well, allegedly, yes, they're getting the new Block 20s, which have the full. So technically, they're getting Growlers and Fs, and again, I'm sure the Germans will be shouting at the screen now, because apparently, they're well, the way their government works is very much round. What's the best way of putting this? Get on you. I'd say I'm trying to describe someone's government. That's it. Now dogs are attacking each other. But yeah, they've got basically the workers' union run off the government apparently, and the workers' union has turned around and said, no, we're not buying from abroad, and we're certainly not buying from America. So apparently the way that their parliament works for the voting system, so who knows. But anyway, it's all a little bit up in the air again. But apparently they're getting quite a few of them, isn't it? 40 Fs and 12 Gs, and then getting a load of the other ones, whatever it was. So yes, be interested if they do, because it's the latest block. It's got the touchscreen big TVs, so it's like one 17 or 27 inch monitor in front of them, and they'd be like
And with their history of special commemorative schemes for their aircraft as well, that could be some cool looking models, couldn't it?
Yes, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Apparently John deserves a massage and some spa time.
Who? What?
But I'm just reading him out. I don't,
I've got a question here for Nigel's put. Just about to start my AFV Centurion tank, Korean War. What would you recommend for the green colour?
I've built that kit and it's a really nice kit.
I've built the Australian version. It's up on the mezzanine, I think. I can't remember what I painted it in.
I can't remember what one it was I painted. It had the bulldozer bit in the front.
Oh, that was the NATO version you built then, isn't it? The
Oh,
boxing
no,
was the NATO one.
It was a tank.
Would there be bronze green still then? I don't know. Somebody shout up in chat. I bet somebody will know in chat because I do it off the top of my head. I'm thinking probably bronze green, but I'm not 100% with that because what's the figure? 50s, isn't it? Centurion's like just after the war, isn't it? Late 40s, 50s?
Yeah.
Because yeah. I've got a feeling it'll be bronze green, but I'm sure, like I say, chat will
Somebody will show up.
pipe up and correct me or back me up, whichever way.
Just whilst we're, Steph, I did get your email this morning, but I haven't answered it yet because I've been flat out today, so I'll answer you now. Okay, this goes back to about what's wrong with painting on the sprues and all the rest of it. I think what it is, obviously a lot of you haven't or don't know us and haven't been following us, but a few years ago I had a run-in. I was making a model. I'm going to do this generally, so I'm not seen to be picking on anyone, but I was making a model and I was basically showcasing that side of the hobby, and I was trying to get more people into it, which I thought was a good thing. So I was showing how to build a model quite simply, so I wasn't overcomplicating it and going to town on it, but I was showing how good the kits are, and they are brilliant. And basically it was like a no frills type build though, so I wasn't going massively over the top with like weathering and all the bits and pieces, and that was it. Anyway, I got picked up by a certain group of modelers who said I was being disrespectful to the hobby because I was painting on the sprue. And this is where this has now turned into a bit of a joke, and that's why a lot of us who've been followers for years know about this joke, and why they'll post up when you see any of us painting on the sprues, they're like, none of it's done generally, and it's all done for a bit of a giggle now. But basically it got really out of hand and it turned into a complete flaming war on the internet, because obviously the Flory family had my back and we're having a go at them, and then they were coming back, and it got quite nasty at one point. So I made a little announcement, and we shot the model a lot. So that was it really, and it put paid. But the silly thing to it all was that, again, a bit like rivet counters, they obviously felt I was doing a disservice to their genre of modelling by not giving it the attention it desired and all the rest of it. But what it is, the idiots, and you watch this, I'll get a load of hate because I'm talking about it, and they watch this, you watch this, and you like us really. But anyway, the thing is that what I was trying to do was drive people to their hobby, to show them how good it is and how that genre of the hobby is fantastic, how their injection molding is far superior to anything we have normally, because it is, and how easy it is to do it. But they just thought I was taking shortcuts and wasn't doing it properly, and all I was trying to do was show how good it was, and everything else. So you paint on the sprue exactly how you like. It's just a little bit of an in-joke with the Flory family versus the internet about it. But again, it's one of those things, it all got out of hand. I must admit, I had some fantastic apologies from people, very high up people in the hobby as well, who tried to disown all the idiots. But unfortunately, like in all hobbies, there's plenty of them. But that's what it is. So now when you see us do anything painting on the sprue, it's all like, oh, painting on the sprue, you'll get done for that. And that's where the joke comes from. I paint on the sprue all the time. The guys all paint on the sprue. It's just done literally as a joke. Okay, so it's our little fingers back up at that side of the hobby, shall we say.
I think it's convenient sometimes painting on the sprue. We've got something to hold.
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
I can't see the problem, but yeah.
It's like,
Built-in handle, isn't it?
Yes.
yeah. especially like tank wheels and stuff are fantastic to do, and then you just cut them off and clean them up or whatever you need to do. Obviously, you got to depend on the seam line running around the middle, the mould line, but wheels and tyres are ideal because if you've got so many of them, like you say, you've got a ready-made handle, we could just happy days.
Absolutely. But as I say, I honestly don't understand where the hate came from, but it did. I was literally, I was enemy number one, like me and Hitler. It was it. It was like literally. It's like, what the hell did I do in a previous life? But the amount of hate I got for it was unbelievable. So so at that point I bowed out nicely, and I've never built anything like that again. So there you go. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for getting me back into the hobby after 30 years doing a 1/24 scale Stuka. My God, talk about start, where you left off. Which one of you's got the Stuka? John's got a Stuka, haven't you?
Oh, I've got a Stuka, yeah.
Yeah.
Sat here, yeah.
That's it. Good on you. But anyway, no problem. Welcome back to the hobby. A lot of guys talking about decals. Good on you. Apparently there's other manufacturers releasing and various things now. My chat has just decided to update itself, and it turns out I'm well behind everybody else. Oh my lord, there's tons in here now. Sorry, my chat's literally just updated itself for some reason. It was on definitely a go slow. Phil, I have 3 huge binders full of aftermarket decals. May have a problem. Yeah, to be honest, I am the same. I've got boxes full of them around. It's what to do with them all. Delights of the Northern Star Railroads. Says he's got a couple of German locos, but only for display. I model Great Northern stuff. Fantastic. Phil and the team, how do you prevent advanced modeller's syndrome? Well, in my case, I don't have a choice because it's my job. So it's a bit like you do your job. Luckily, I happen to love my job, so it's not really a problem. So yes, I take it you mean, or do you mean as in getting old and doing it, or with the eyesight?
I think he probably means getting a kit and then thinking you've got to buy every single bit of aftermarket for it.
Then you don't. You just do what you want.
Privet counter.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, take yourself outside and have a bit of a word with yourself.
Yeah, have a chat with yourself. So you don't need to do all of that. And again, like classic example is this thing. I know a lot of people were shocked or surprised, shall we say, that I didn't get all the aftermarket for it. But my point is, look at it. It doesn't need it. It's not like it's crying out for this, that and the other. And like I said, a lighting kit would be very nice, but everything else I've got here lit here never gets turned on ever. So I can't see the point. It's a static model at the end of the day, so I'm quite happy to have it as it is. But a lot of people thought I'd do like with the flight deck area and with the pods out, LED lightings and all the rest of it. But this is a classic example of it's so big. Like for me to show you it with the lights on would be dangerous to move it. Because you'd have to pick it up and swing it round and do all of this business. For you to get a glimpse of it, really there's not a lot of point doing it. And it doesn't need it. It's good enough on its own. So some things I think, the aftermarket sets, especially Photo Action, that you can get the giant Ed sets and they cost horrendous amounts of money. How much of it are you really going to see? And how much do you really need to put on? Personal choice.
Yeah, well that's saying how much work do you want to put into your own kit in it as well. It's that. So I think we've all been guilty of it one time or another, going like, oh, we'll have a cockpit, we'll have some seats, we'll have some wheels, we'll have some wheel wells. Yeah. It can be expensive as well. It can get very expensive very quickly.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. And especially if, like we're saying about kit collecting, obviously if you've got as much in aftermarket as you've got the cost of the kit, if not more in most cases, it's a lot of money just to be sat there, isn't it?
You got doing the Mozzie, didn't you?
Yeah.
The Tanky Mosquito, you got suckered in with buying engines and this that and the other that you really didn't need.
Absolutely. Yeah, classic example. Go off and see my Mosquito build. I spent more in aftermarket than I did on the kit. And again, like I've said to a lot of people, because a lot of people said to me, oh, I've got this for it and that. And I'm like, honestly, don't get it. the engines, it doesn't need it. Just detail it up with a bit of lead wire and you'll get just as good. That'll save you 60 quid, you know.
Yeah.
And the gun bays and all the rest of it, to be honest, they're pretty good in the kit. You know, maybe a set of fabric harnesses inside the cockpit because they use the decals and they're just crap. But the rest of it, it honestly doesn't need it. It's fine on its own. Because I've seen people who've used just that and they've used it straight out of the box. It looks fantastic. It looks no different to mine at all. Unless you're literally right up to it, you can't tell the difference. And yeah, I've got everything thrown at mine and it doesn't need any of it.
The danger you run into, you buy everything and then you just don't know where to start with it.
Yeah.
Ends up being unbuilt.
Yeah.
And you just stick it in your stash.
That's the thing. I think I've had more satisfaction with building straight out the box at the minute, to be honest. The Buccaneer was straight out the box.
Yeah.
That's straight out of the box, that truck, and what else was it? There was something else I built, and it was just straight out of the box, and it was quite a nice, freeing experience, I think, because I weren't worried about, like, I've got to have this or whatever, you know, aftermarket. I think if it is aftermarket for me, as you know, if it's an aircraft, it'll be a mass set for the canopies, because I just keep doing it, and that's probably as far as I've gone. But actually, detail-wise, no.
Mass set, and maybe if it's sort of modern jet, pitos and that from Master. But
they're worth, but they're not expensive, are they? They're a few quid. It's not like you're going into 20-30 quid of resin and other bits and bobs. It's a decent add-on, as in a pitot tube, innit?
And I've found a lot of the time when you do actually buy the resin aftermarket cockpits or whatever, when you get them and look at them, they don't actually look an awful lot better than the kit.
I think what it was, if you go back to like 20 years now, you had like Aries cockpits, black box, things like that. They were them because cockpits were crap. They were just plain and there was nothing in there. But again, here we are 20 years later. The detail that you can get now in a normal manufacturer's cockpit is far superior to what it used to be, you know, and that's the difference. But I think, you know, obviously Hasegawa's, all their range of kits, you used to get all the resin. So if I built a Phantom, I used to put a resin cockpit in it because it really needed it, you know. And then obviously with the Tomcat, probably didn't, but I used to put them into there as well, and all the ones for it, because again, it was just, they were a little bit plain and it did it. But you buy a Tamiya one now, or a modern manufactured kit, they are really up there, and that's normally where I'll turn around and say maybe do the seat, purely because it's got the harnesses and some more details in it, and you might see the ejector seat on an aircraft. As for the rest of it, you could probably get out of the box. And the only reason I use colour photo etch is because I can't paint or put decals on small places. I'm lazy.
I did that with my little Heinkel 162. I was looking at it, and the cockpit's fantastic. But all you've got is those really naff decals for the harnesses.
Yeah.
So I went on Hannon's. The only harness set you can get is in like the full cockpit Edward set, which I didn't really want to get because, like I say, the cockpit in the kit is fantastic. So I just got the quick boost seat.
Yeah.
The resin one with the resin straps on it as well.
Yeah.
And that was what, 3 or 4 quid, I think.
Absolutely, and it's a good upgrade to do because you look down in the cockpit. That's the thing. So it's
See,
really what you see, isn't it? Yeah, it's the first thing you see. You know.
But going back, I mean, I just want to champion sort of airfix for their cockpit on 72nd and the 48. Like you say, harnesses. That is all you need with their cockpits. They've come on so far.
Yeah.
We've just, like I've said before, a seat, a stick, and a floor.
Yeah.
To what you get now is just amazing, especially on the 72nd stuff. Like the Phantom cockpit was brilliant. The
Buccaneer one
was.
Yeah.
Just way above and beyond really what you'd expect in the scale, I think. So, well,
but
as
they say, there's an exception to every rule. And I will be buying an aftermarket cockpit set for the brand new Hind.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you definitely. I would like you, John, to get hold of that resin one for it.
I'll have to go on eBay and order that Quintus Studios.
Because obviously, by the time you get around to building this, we'll be out of lockdown. You can come down here and show us it.
Well, Andy's got one coming into.
Has Andy done one as well? Right.
Yeah, he's got one. I think he ordered it before the kit were out, I think.
Yeah.
Which, don't you think, makes you think, well, how was he... Because we were on about this, if we're not on Skype, weren't we? How's the guy who's released it for that kit before it's even released?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he must have some in with Zarevsta. There must be something
I smell of that.
Yeah.
with either his company and Zarevsta for the aftermarket, yeah,
Yeah.
for the detail sets that's been rumoured of coming out for it.
Yeah.
So I would just wait.
It makes you wonder, yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely smell a rat.
yeah, and why that's so plain.
Definitely.
Because I don't think that's very Zarevsta, if I'm honest, at the minute, because their new stuff isn't.
No, that's
Like,
why I don't
not-
understand why it's like it. It doesn't make sense. But I'm not being funny, and I know we've spoken about this off camera, but we are slightly smelling a rat. There's a lot of aftermarket coming out for this, and it's almost like another said manufacturer did by giving you half a kit.
Yeah.
So it makes you buy all the aftermarket, which I don't like at all.
Yeah.
And I hate to think Zvezda's gone down that route.
A good example, okay? That, their 72nd Yak 130 came out in 2017, and that's a really nice kit, a really good kit. A year later, they bought that one out,
Yeah.
and it is almost a scaled up version, but the cockpit in that is one of the best detailed cockpits I've ever seen in an injection molded kit.
Yeah.
So why didn't they do that for the Hind?
Well, this is it.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't
It's
it?
like, to be honest, they've sidestepped the entire cockpit.
Yeah.
The only reason I can think of that is that they had a tie-in with somebody to do an aftermarket cockpit. Because
Yeah.
why give it with no detail whatsoever? There's just nothing in there. And to put decals on something like that, and to be honest, the decals are crap and all. You know, they're pretty plain on there. So, yeah, it's one of those where I bite my tongue on that because I'm waiting to find out the real stuff from it. But
Yeah.
right, quick
Okay.
questions because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Phil, what F14A in 1/48 scale would you recommend? Well, seeing as AMK haven't brought one out yet because they've only got the D, I'd have to say the Tamiya one. The Tamiya one is absolutely beautiful. It's a fantastic kit, but it's very expensive. Obviously, your other options down that route, say, is again, you've got your Hobby Boss one, which is the cheap one, or if you can get them at a reasonable price, the Hasegawa ones, and go back to them. But again, Tamiya, because there's out of them all, it's a beautiful kit. It's fantastic. The engineering is amazing. It pulls together. It's typical Tamiya all the way through. But it's best part of 100 quid now. So it's like a lot of money for a 48 scale kit. That's my only problem. Apparently, Afterburner Decals is now Bullseye Decals. Same guy, just rebranded company. There we go.
Oh.
The guys up above, and I missed it. I did see it, but I forgot to read it out. They were talking about Airfix's 1/35 scale armor. Yes, they are Academy Reboxes.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's how that's worked. They've got we spoke to Airfix about this a couple of weeks ago. If you didn't see the show, we spoke to Airfix, and yeah, that's just a reboxing job.
To be honest, they're not bad kits, the Academy.
They are nice
kits.
kits, yeah.
They're not bad kits at all, you know. So don't be put off because
Yes.
it's Academy kit. They're nice kits.
Yeah, I've said before, I've built quite a few Academy armour bits over the years, and actually you do some nice stuff. So,
Oh, talking of Academy, can I just get a shameless plug in?
yeah.
What they called, Phil? The helicopters. I call
Oh,
Cobras.
what? The Cobras.
The Super Cobra and the other one.
The Viper.
The Viper. They're in stock.
Yes.
They're in stock. I ain't got many at all because there isn't many. So just what there is. But yeah, because it's the new boxing of the older kit, but the new tooled one of the good one that you reviewed, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the one with the 4 blades, the sort of Super Cobra
Viper.
thing, the Viper. That's the new tooled one, but a bit offhand, the old one. Hold on, let me bring it up so we can show the boys and girls.
Yeah, H1Z, innit?
Yeah, it's the old box. It's the old kit in a new box. So don't think it's the same. It's not. It's the old version. You got them in Academy.
Academy, they're not new arrivals.
Yeah.
If they're still there.
Yeah. So what it is, this one here.
Yeah.
If I go full screen, make it a bit bigger. This one here is actually the old box. Is the old kit. It's not this one. This one is the brand new tooled one, which got the slide molded tail and all things like that. This one's the old one version. Again, there's a slight difference in price, which obviously refers it, but don't think this is this one. It's not. It's totally different kit.
Yeah.
So yes.
Cool.
And another quick one down in here. Phil, I remember you sanding the decals on your Hind 1/35 scale. That you did a few years back. I was very impressed to see the carrier film disappear. That's two things. One is Linden Hill decals. They are brilliant with enamel thinners. So you put your decal down and then you give it a rub over with a cotton bud with enamel thinners, and it makes the carrier film bead up. And then what you can do, you sand it and it rolls it away. So it just leaves the ink on your model, which is brilliant. But that particular technique doesn't work for every different decal manufacturer. So it's never going to work with the Tamiya decal, put it like that. They're far too thick. But if your decals are really, really thin, it's a little trick that John Tigger Wilkes taught me actually. You just basically put on a little bit on a cotton bud and just keep rubbing at your decal. And what happens is that the actual carrier film lifts off really, and as you rub it, it rolls it off, so you get like bits of it coming away, and you just keep going at it. Be careful, because sometimes it will take the decal, the actual printed part of the decal with it, but normally it just takes the carrier film completely off. So if you've got something like I've got with like the numbering all down it, and it was on there, it just takes it all off, and then that way if you keep going at it, you can actually weather the decal as well. It's a great little technique, but it doesn't work for every decal. If they're really strong, really thick, it's not going to get through it, but thin decals it works an absolute treat with.
Cool. Right, are you going to run BT, because I need to get my Barbie sorted.
Right, okie dokie guys, well there's loads of questions. We'll be back on Monday and we can answer them all down in there. So obviously Matt's got to get his barbecue, I've got dogs going mad, and you've got a 5-minute video now which is going to be all about the actual MIG SIG that finished at the end of the month. So we're going to leave you with that great one. So everybody have a happy weekend. We will see you all on Monday. And if I can find the outro thing here, that's it, it's this one. We will see you later. Right, happy modelling guys, bye bye.
Bye
See you
bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Andy, little Matt said he's had his 2 orders.